Yeah, hello guys. Welcome to the Cloud DevOps Guru channel. So today we are going to understand the depends on concept into the Terraform. In the previous videos, we understand the how to install the Terraform, how to install the required package to develop our Terraform code. So also we understand the basic commands in the Terraform. Also we understand what is the provider, what is the resource, how we can create the resources into the Terraform. Those concepts we understand in the previous video. So if you are the new on my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you are not watched previous video, please go and watch my previous video. So I stopped making the videos for few days because of some heavy work. So from now I will continuously do the videos on my channel. If you are the new on my channel, please do subscribe the channel and share this channel with your friends also. Thank you. So today we will understand the depends on. In the previous video, we had written the code here for creating the VPC, right? So using the resources, we can create the actual resources into the provider, given provider. Here we are using the provider as the AWS. Okay. Here we are written the code into the single file. In the Terraform, we can return the code in the single file also, or we can split that code into the multiple file for better readability. Okay, we will understand how we can split that. Okay, here we had written all the code into the single file. Okay, as per the best practices in the main.tf, we will keep the only provider. So based on the resources, we will create the file and we will put the our resources into that file. For example, I had created the VPC. Here I can create the name vpc.tf. Okay, and I can keep the VPC resource into the VPC file. Okay, and here we are created the subnet. I will create the subnet.tf file and I will keep this code into the subnet.tf file. Okay, then I will remove this code from the main.tf file. Why we write means why we create the multiple files? We can create the multiple files for the better readability. Okay, if someone is new, he wanted to understand our code, he can directly go and go and read the our code from the specific file. For example, he wanted to know how we are created the our VPC, how we are created the our subnet. He wanted to understand, so he can go directly inside that file and he can read the our code. Means he no need to go here and there and find out all the resources, and he can understand. For any newcomer on any new person, so it is better to understand the our code. Okay, so today we wanted to understand the depends on. Sometimes now, for example, when we run the our Terraform, so if we are splitted the code into the multiple TF files also, so when we run the Terraform apply, so it will combine all the files and it will run uh, as a in single file. Okay, so while running that, so Terraform will create the resources in parallel way. For example, it will create the VPC and also it will create the subnet in parallel way. If Terraform is creating the resources in parallel way, so if you are not given the dependency between these resources, so it may chances to fail the creation of resources into the actual environment. For example, if our VPC is not present, then we can't create the subnet, right? So both are creating in the parallelly. Before creating the VPC, so if our subnet resources are trying to create, then it will be fail. So because of that, we have to mention some dependency. There are two types of dependency. One is the implicit dependency and another one is the explicit dependency. So here you can see we had created the VPC and after that we are created the our subnet. Inside the subnet we have given already some dependency as a VPC ID. If we are creating the resources and you are using the some other resources dependency here, that is called the implicit implicit dependency. Okay, here you can see we are referring to the VPC resources, right? AWS underscore VPC dot main dot ID. Here you can see our resource type and logical name, and we specifying the attribute for the output. Means we in the previous video we understand the what is the use of the argument and what is the use of the attribute. If you are not means don't know, please go and watch previous video, but I will explain in shortly. Okay, what is the use of the argument? Arguments are the input in the Terraform. For example, VPC is the argument, CIDR is the argument. If you wanted to take the output of one resources into the another resources, we can use the attribute for taking the output. Okay, for taking the output we can use the attribute. For giving the input we use the arguments. In this way, here we are referring the VPC resource as a dependency. Means it will try to maintain the dependency between the VPC and your subnet. Once creating the VPC, then only it will create the subnet. Because of that, when we apply the our Terraform, so it was not failed. Means it creates the VPC, then it creates the our subnet. So this is called the implicit dependency. Okay, how we can define the explicit dependency? For defining the explicit dependency, we can use depends depends on. First of all, we will depends on Terraform. This is the meta character. Okay, now you can see here depends on. We can specify our resource name. Depends on is equal to your resource name. What is my resource name? So I wanted to create my resource. Once create the previous resource. Okay, in this way you can create the dependency between the two resources. So you can see here. Okay, here we can use the type of the resource and whatever we given the logical name. For example, here you can see this is the type of the resource and this is the logical name. If we are defining the implicit dependency, we were using the type of the resource, logical name and attribute. Why? Because we wanted the output of that resource. So here we are giving the dependency in this way. But for explicit dependency, we will just give the our type of the resource, then we will specify the logical name of the resource. Here, if we wanted to create another one resources, also copy it, paste it. Okay, if you wanted to create subnet 1, once created the our my subnet. Okay, now here we will give the dependency of our my subnet. Okay, AWS underscore subnet, then logical name is the my subnet. So in this way you can specify the dependency in your Terraform. Once you return this, just you can go and run your Terraform code. so that you know how we can run, how we can initialize, how you can plan, how we can validate. Once you've done this, you can run your code, it's execute. Okay, in this way we can define the depends on and dependency between the different resources in the Terraform. Yeah, that's it from my end today. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you.